welcome. This is Jeff Stewart. Guess who? Jeff Stewart. This is our first edition of, we're going to do a top 20% video that we're going to send out every week. So you can start your week with conversations more tailored to exactly what you need in your business to help you move forward. Good news is Alexis W is joining us this week, and she's bringing the smoke. So I thought we'd start off with Alexis. She's got, I think we met through a mutual coach with Maps, and she did a much better job branding herself and getting her thermal coffee mugs at Jeannie's house rather than me. So I started paying attention to what she was doing. So welcome, Alexis. I appreciate you doing this.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Why don't you give us a kind of an overview, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll rock and roll.
Sure. So I am in San Antonio, Texas. I have been a real estate agent for 18 years now. I got licensed at the University of Texas in Austin. And I joined Keller Williams 10 years ago, started a team, and was really grateful to be paired with Jeannie Osnes, who I'm sure y'all know. This year, I want to say we didn't quite hit 200 families helped. And we did, for the first time, surpass 2.5 million in GCI. So it was really exciting. So I do have a team of ISAs, TCs, and agents. I am the lead listing specialist. I take the lion's share of listings. So you guys might also recognize me from Maps. I am a Maps group coach. So I have the mega listing agent, and I partner with Emily Baker on that. And then I also have Role Play Rumble. So if it's around scripts and listings and setting expectations to eliminate objections, like I'm your girl, Role Play Rumble is to fill the gap. So I lead that on Mondays, and we pair everyone with role play partners from like their similar production.
That's great. And is that something that's open? So if we throw that in the chat or include that in the email, is that something where people can sign up for that?
If they're a Keller Williams agent, yes to both of those.
Okay, good.
Yep, roleplayrumble.com. So that's my work life. And then I do have 3 littles. So I've got a 11-year-old, 9-year-old, and 4-year-old, boy, girl. So I'm a busy mom with a full-time working husband that does not work in my business. He's in a different industry. And then some of you guys might have seen me because Keller Williams featured me. I actually, like Jeff, I love cycling on a road bike. Yep. And I got in an accident and I crushed my pelvis. And long story short, and I'd never broken a bone, not a pinky finger, nothing. So I died in the hospital, and they resuscitated me, and I did this on my mom's 60th birthday. So imagine what that phone call sounds like when I came back to life.
Oh my God.
They did surgery, and it was scary because we didn't know if I would walk again. Neither did the surgeon. Gratefully, he was a past client. So that was really nice. And I was in a wheelchair for about 3.5 months. Still averaged 3 listings. I'm really proud of this, a week. And my husband, we would get a nanny, we would get a babysitter. And after he got home from work, he would drive me, because I was in a wheelchair and couldn't drive. He would drive me to nighttime appointments. Wow. And he would help me out. And I have to push myself up the stairs, and he'd help me into the wheelchair, and I'd ring the doorbell, and then he'd walk upstairs and he'd FaceTime me like I needed to see the upstairs. But anyways, so my point is, I hope I can add some value or inspiration, give you guys some inspiration today, because during COVID, as a full-time working mom, if I can do it in a wheelchair and still crush it with my listing goal, I promise you I can teach you something to help you achieve your goal.
That's amazing. And that just took me by surprise. I didn't realize that they had brought you back at the hospital. I'm
here today.
I mean, that's intense. I've been in a bicycle accident. I was hit by a car also. And it was just that there's a lot of emotional baggage that comes with that, in addition to kind of strapping up your boots and going after those listings. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Whew, man. Well, that makes things real for everybody that's watching this. All right. So, you pretty big business up to that point, right? So how many members? You said ISAs, you said, what else? I wrote it down, but now I don't see it. You said you got ISAs, you're the listing person. Any buyer's agents?
Yeah, so if we go off of our numbers from last year, we have 2 ISAs, we have 2 transaction coordinators, a director of operations, and 3 buyer agents.
That's incredible. And that's a lot of units, a lot of families helped. So how have you built a business that you were able to actually be in a wheelchair and keep it moving along like that? Like, what I know is I see pictures. I've gotten to know you personally. You're a beautiful family. You guys are still out having fun, but you're also building a big business at the same time. And I think often we get stuck in the top 20%. We get stuck in that ramp rate where we're just every waking moment is into building our business, tend to diminish our personal lives while we go toward that. So how have you found, like, how do you keep work-life balance on that? And how do you keep it ticking so you can focus on moving forward in all those different areas of your life?
Loaded question. I have a tribe of people around me. Number one, I do not do all of this by myself. So if you look at my social media, he's correct. We travel a lot. My kids are super athletic and active. So it would appear on a social page that we are like probably one of the most active families known to man. And I would have no time for a business. So we do have help. I have someone that lives with us because I remember, and I say, like, if I dial back to my first introduction to Keller Williams, and it was Diana Kokoska, and I was like that person who took bold 9 times. And I'm friends with Gina right now. And I still remember the day where I was like, God, that's so cool to be like Gina Rott. Because he was, if y'all don't know Gene, he was the poster child of bold. Yep. And what Diana said was she challenged us and said, what could you be doing with that time, right? If you paid someone to go mow your lawn and that cost you $12 an hour, what could you make on that hour? And no one had ever taught me how to think like that. And so I give so much gratitude to Diana and Keller Williams' way of slowly over the years, me just getting a little bit and a little bit more to really be able to live in a life now where I get to look at my calendar and I have all this enthusiasm about what my day was. And I think sometimes we don't, right? Like I don't know the 2 words, but like, you have to have been in a dark space or a really painful space or a space where you don't have that time with your kids or you hate what your day-to-day looks like and it feels like a job, not this huge fun career. So I look back and we were grinders. Like I had the child on the hip like 2 days after I, brought him home, and we were at a closing, and I was everything Diana told you not to be. Like I would tell my family, hold on to take a call. I would lock myself in the bathroom with my kids crying, like trying to qualify a lead. But I think when you don't have things, you do everything in your power to ensure that doesn't happen again out of the fear of having to go back into that place. Yep. I think it came from not having it to then going, what the heck do I need to be intentional about such that I now have quality time with my kids, myself, and my husband?
That's so good. So intentional. So what does that look like for you? So are you setting goals? Are you like, how does Alexis stay intentional? Because you got a lot going on.
I am one of those people though that loves setting goals and intentions. My husband is not. So I empathize with you if you're not, but like I came prepared to this. So here's my intentions.
Oh my gosh.
And if you don't have the day one journal, it's a day one app. It's like the #1 journal app. You can voice text photos and it allows you different journals. And so I have one on goals, reflections. So what might look complicated becomes easier every single year. But I think actually being intentional comes through your calendar, and that looks really busy. Yeah. That's my entire calendar on a year, because I don't like flipping through a Google Calendar. If you were to say, hey, could you fly in and teach at the Market Center? Yeah. I want to know, hey, have I been traveling the week before? What does that look like? And just like in the Mega Listing Agent course, we teach how to color code, your calendar such that your lead generating activities, right? That's where you make your money. Those are green. When we, for us, the purple is when we're meeting with team members. So like bold, when
Nice.
we're pouring into
Yep.
others. And then blue is sky's the limit. So when we're working on ourselves, we're reading, we're doing a conference. And then pink for us is fun, right?
So-
Like that's, so I think it starts with getting clear on how out of balance or in balance is your calendar, right? And then filling the gaps in.
So, but what I hear, so I said, what I hear a lot from agents is I see the calendar, I understand it. How do I get there? Right. Because it's like, I know all the things I should be doing, but how do you change yourself to be able to get into a calendar? Because I have too many things to do to fit in those boxes.
Well, less is more sometimes. So who are you missing in your world? No, I think we all just start with, if you had the ability, which we all do, let's be clear, we all have the ability to wake up and put an hour of time to go focus on your calendar and ask yourself, what makes me come alive?
Ooh,
And
that's what makes me come alive.
And it doesn't have to be all areas of your world, right? Like, and then like, what am I missing? Where is my cup not full? And what makes me come alive personally is traveling and creating new experiences with my kids and my husband. So we literally calendar fun first. We got a beach house. We have it as an Airbnb, but I made a commitment that I wanted to travel with some friends and have more of like, create those experiences with my friends that I know if we don't get intentional, life's going to come up and it's never going to happen. So we have that calendared all the way through the end of the year. So I already have their commitments on when they're coming. But I think just asking ourselves those questions, going, what makes me come alive? Put them on the calendar first. And then if you're feeling out of balance in your health or your spiritual or your me time or your time with your significant other, like pick one thing that you want to focus on putting more of that into your calendar for that month.
For that month. Okay. I love that. So you said you had a tribe around you, and I love the word tribe. So one of the things that like I tease Jeannie about and I tease you about is you've created a tribe around the Alexis Wagon brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So help us. What tips could you give us, or what could you communicate for those of us that are trying to create a tribe rather than a sphere around us that's like our data bank? Like, what is it? How would you move into that tribe? Because you've done it. Like, you have a brand and a presence. Like, are there any tips you could give us on how to create a tribe?
Give me a little bit more definition. Are we looking for like a tribe in our database and work and at home?
No, in your database. Yeah. So you've created a brand and experience with your real estate team. And is there anything like that you would say, hey, this totally works to create that stickiness where people want to be in business with you?
100%. We go over this in detail in my course because I'm super passionate about it. Gary Keller says we should be 50% marketing, 50% prospecting based.
Okay.
Full disclosure, the prospecting piece was a lot harder for me to put together. So I got really good at marketing, and I'm not good at marketing. I just said, I want to serve the community of which I live in. I want to be known as the agent that does the most amount of sales and gives the most amount back to our community. So I defined my target market, which for me is the area I live in. It's about 2,500 homes. And then the one thing that I could consistently get in front of them easily and cheaply on was postcards. Mm-hmm. So it's just like a typical real estate postcard, says Alexis did it again, has, every time we get a listing or a sale, we get to send one out. But between farming efforts and then our open houses, we go through our open house protocol, but we just snip it into how detailed. We circle prospect in the morning. We circle prospect in the afternoon. We put out 20 directional signs. We canvass with like 5 people in our team, the neighborhood, and we average about 30 to 40 people through our open house day one. And we shoot
30
this
to 40
video.
people?
Yes. And this is like normal traffic's like maybe 2 people. So, but we get all the nosy neighbors because that's who we want. And then when the agent and the buyer walks through the house, there's like lines of cars. And so every person is responsible for 1 photo and video. And then our marketing girl, because we just made a marketing hire, she puts together this like 30-second clip, and it's to the music of Full House.
Nice.
So there's so much creativity that can go around open houses, and yet farming and open houses is where the majority of our business comes from, because it's the easiest to layer those marketing touches and earn that brand awareness.
It's so interesting. So our slogan in both the market centers for this year is everything with impact. And as you were saying that, I was thinking about you're creating an experience. So even if you're not going to that open house, you're going to see the cars lined up with people trying to get in it. And that is creating impact. I love that. So good. All right. So it sounded like marketing, flyer. Number one, define what you want, right?
Yeah.
And then you're running a play. You've got a play for circle prospecting, mailers, all that stuff. That's awesome. Cool.
That's exactly what that is. I want everyone though listening to write down what Jeff just said, because it's a play. It's the same thing every time. And until we get consistent and it's someone else doing it, not me, we don't add creativity to it.
Ooh.
Because I'm one that's like, oh, let's do this. Let's do that. So we always will date a protocol or something in the system for at least 2 to 3 weeks, because we run open houses every Tuesday. And it's super consistent. The more consistent and systematic we can make it, the better our results end up being.
I love it. So I always say, earn the right to be creative. And that's what you're doing. You're running the play enough to know, okay, now we have room for some creativity. That's amazing. That's good. All right, let's see what else we got. I got a question for you. So you've built a big business. You're now in maps. What I want to know, how much of it is natural talent and how much of it is you found the right systems and processes? Because I think there's a big disparity between where people are, and then they hear somebody like you talk and they're like, yeah, but she's really good at scripts.
Yeah.
So give me the dirt. Was this all natural talent? It's easy.
Yeah,
for you?
like I wish. I mean, you could go back and look at my original production and be crystal clear. It's not original talent. Let's just be clear. Numbers don't lie. So no, sadly it is not. But you know, the MREA, if y'all haven't read it and you at all want to have an assistant or win through any type of leverage to earn the time back, to have more of a freedom of choice, to decide how you spend the time you have and who you spend it with. If that's something that intrigues you, the number one book that I've gotten the biggest return on investment on is The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And
Really?
that sounds so cliche, but it is so true.
Yeah.
What?
She's on Gary's payroll. I'm just kidding. So
no, like I think that it's so, sometimes when things are so available to us, we look for something else where it's right already there on our bookshelf. And every time I reread it, it helps me, because now maybe I know the knowledge, but maybe I'm not articulating it as well to the people I work with as he did to me in the book. So what was your original question? Oh, it was back. Well,
I just wanted to know, like, natural talent versus systems and processes, because you're doing something at a level that is now distinguished quite a bit above just better than average, right? And that gap seems really hard to cover sometimes. And I was just curious, like, did you just skip your way there, or were you like, I'm going millionaire real estate agent and running plays?
No, it was, I remember the day I called Jeannie because I got the invitation from Mindy, which is Gary's personal assistant, saying that I was invited to his mastermind, his top 100. And that had been on my vision board for like 8 years. I would always, I mean, I think all of us move at a different pace. We're naturally gifted in some areas, and some other areas we struggle. To be transparent, looking back, I didn't think this at the time, but I just had such a nervous energy. I was doing so much, and I didn't really have this energy of gratitude. And so, and I'm also a perfectionist. And so when it comes to processes and succeeding through others, you could describe it as micromanaging. I looked at it as, well, I'm inspecting what I'm expecting.
Yep.
And so documenting the systems and processes allowed me to not, it allowed me to come more from a gratitude cheerleader standpoint with people on my team. And I think that once I was able to move, once I had the pain of losing enough hires or having hires that I didn't like their energy, they were energy draining, right? Again, I can't imagine living in my world back then.
Right.
I was miserable.
Right.
And so we have to go through some of that pain to then learn, okay, what I was doing was not working. And so now when you can get to a point where you enjoy the people you work with, my world changed. When I just said, you know what, if I can just take you to a girls' lunch or a guys' lunch, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
I can take you to a lunch and I can sit down and just have a conversation over life. And for me, that's like healthy eating, spending quality time. Like if we have our core values are in alignment and I can enjoy your energy and it's conversational, that was my litmus test if I wanted to hire you. Mind you, I followed all of the other great career visioning.
Yep.
But I don't want to say that your answer is, I tried doing a lot of it and like whacking a mole, like putting out fires or delegating until I realized I can't scale a business like that. And so I worked on myself and then showed gratitude and was able to get the people that I enjoy working with on board. And that's when things turned a corner for me.
I love that. So it sounds like one of the things that stood out that you just said is you said I would documented my systems and processes because you're a perfectionist, right? And I think a lot of us stay in it to protect it and hold it so tight that things have to flow through us in the funnel, right? So we become the clog. And what you said was I started documenting my standards and my systems, which then you can hand to somebody else to get into your magic zone. So I think that that's a huge takeaway for the people listening. That's good. Really good. Well, I want to be respectful of time, so we're not going to do too much longer. I mentioned the tribe as far as being in your team's world, as far as clients, repeat clients, all that. Do you use a touch program, or how do you stay? Because you have good, solid stickiness with those people. What does that look like for you?
It's really basic. It's a newsletter once a month.
Okay.
And it's interesting because if you talk about touch plans, it's different because we have a new marketing girl. So we're explaining a lot of this. It's different for our Met database than it is our have not met database. And our have not met database that is in our geographic farm location, they see the signs, right? They get the mailers, they get the door knocks and the flyers. But if they get the circle prospecting, but if it's just an internet lead that came in, right? And that's how they came to us. I think at this point, they're only getting a newsletter once a month, and then they get a quarterly call. Okay. And our ISAs do that.
That's amazing. And that keeps you top of mind. And that's
I forgot, we do 2 events. We do Breakfast with Santa and we do a Mother's Day event. So there's going to be marketing that goes out around those. And then there's some text messages that go out around those as well. And then obviously we have them on e-alerts. So everyone is required to be on a neighborhood alert.
So good. So good. All right. So you built a big business. You got life, family balance going. You're a MAPS coach. Give me specifically the courses that you're offering so we can drive people to them. Because I think that's a lot of the repeatable things that we can learn are in those courses. So
Yeah.
you said, give
The
me
mega
the
listing
website again.
agent.
What's that?
The mega listing agent.
Mega listing agent. Okay, got it.
You can just go to maps for that, or you can go to megalistingagent.com. That's a
Okay.
9-week course that is $4.99.
Okay.
And we get on, and whether your goal is to take 5 listings a year, or you are already consistently closing 100 listings a year, we have all skill sets in that class.
Okay.
Because you're either defining, right, what your unique value proposition is, you're learning how to pre-qualify a lead, how to run a listing appointment,
Yep.
all those things, or you are defining. So Emily built and led a 600 unit a year team. She took them from 125 to over 600 units in less than 5 years. So yeah, so she and I together, and she did it primarily on prospecting. I did mine primarily on marketing. So it's a beautiful blend that you get between the two of us on how to very quickly, because I think in under 5 years is quick.
Yeah.
Go from, hey, I have a rainmaker who is doing about 100 deals a year with a team, not really knowing what they're doing, to that large. So we teach y'all everything. And then we also have Role Play Rumble.
Role Play Rumble. Okay. And was that .com as well?
Yeah. And so if you want to, if you're a TL, NOP, or for your TC, your transaction coordinators, or your listing agents, your buyer agents, or your ISAs, there's a program for everyone. Like mine is on listings. And so I do a Zoom at 11 Central Standard on Mondays.
Okay.
And then I believe there's 2 other times that we pair y'all in the week. And then you actually are paired with role play partners.
And you actually do role playing in that. I'm assuming there are scripts as well. Okay.
Yep.
That's great. All right. Before you go, I want to know what you're reading or what your book list is. Give me the nuggets. And then I always ask Gary that. I always ask, what's in your bag? And I get the coolest answers. So I want to know what's in your bag or on your bookshelf.
Okay. So I'm very excited about this because I randomly came across this on Amazon. I'll hold it up.
Yeah.
It's called Recipes for a Secret Life. And they are super short. It's like a page to 2 to 3 page little stories. And if you're looking for inspiration or how to just have more gratitude and a better energy, through her short stories, I'm really enjoying this. And then I also just this month, I read The Go-Giver.
I don't know that one. Okay.
Okay. It's by Bob Berg and John David Mann. And it says it's a little story about a powerful business idea. My whole team read this and they loved it. And it's just, it says The Go-Giver is the most important parable about business and life of our time by Adam Grant, best-selling author of Give and Take. It's such a quick read. It's one of those that you'll read it on a Saturday or Saturday, Sunday. But I'm all about energy.
Yeah, me too.
So that's what I would recommend right now.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for doing this. I'd love to have you back if we can make some time for it later in the year. That was amazing. So good.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for having me. And hopefully I will get to coach you guys and see you in one of our classes.
Awesome. Thanks, Alexis.
Bye, guys.